Thomas Edison said that he'd put his money on the sun and solar energy. He hoped that we wouldn't have to wait until oil and coal ran out. It goes to show that solar energy has been seen as superior to fossil fuels, even by a genius 90 years ago. As we are the future of this planet, it has become ever so important that we go green. To preserve our future, we have to make use or take advantage of the infinite power source that we revolve around that we call the sun. Today, I'll be showing reasons on why solar energy is superior to our conventional energy sources, especially since we live in a tropical country like the Philippines. Firstly, fossil fuels has been the primary source of our energy since the 1900s. As our society has progressed, it has become clear that this is a serious problem that could be changed by us individuals. The more time passes by, the more urgent it becomes that we make the transition into a cleaner and greener power source. The way we can tackle this overwhelming problem is to make use of solar power. Especially since we reside in the Philippines where the sun is almost always out, it is logical that we make use of solar energy. California, for example, is a state in the US which is relatively hot and it produces the most solar power in the entirety of their country. The transition will put us in the right direction regarding the prevention of global warming and reduced emissions of carbon dioxide from energy production, since solar energy has significantly less of a carbon footprint than fossil fuels. Secondly, society has become so attached to the modern technology and cyberpunk concept. When imagining the future, we think of AI, flying cars, and maybe something out of Star Wars. But that concept is very impractical. It could be dangerous to our planet and is quite dystopian. What I think would be a great alternative to this concept would be something similar to solarpunk. Solarpunk is similar to cyberpunk, but instead of suffering and corruption, it's a world where we live with the environment. There will be architecture that is modern combined with greenery, like the Bosco Verticale in Italy, which provides biodiversity to the city while also reducing the effect of their carbon emissions. All of that while being powered by renewable energy like solar power. Lastly, some people might want to transition into solar energy but find out that it's quite costly. But in reality, it will pay for itself after a few years. What I mean by that is that solar panels might be costly to install at the start, but after a few years, you will get your money back. All of that while producing net positive energy production for the next few years after that. Solar energy is a long-term process, and it has significantly positive impact on the environment. Recently, it has reached its cheapest, and I urge you to transition if you have the funds to support it. The cost of installing solar in the US has dropped by 70% in the last decade and is still dropping until now, due to the massive growth in solar energy that drove solar prices down for them. And we could do the same for ourselves here in the Philippines. In short, solar energy is better than the fossil fuels that we rely on. By transitioning into renewable energy, solar to be specific, you can change the direction of the world in terms of sustainability to a solar punk world. Make the correct decision for the longevity and future of our planet. This problem can be solved by big corporations and businesses by instating policies that support the transition into renewable energy. And at the individual level, we can make the switch to solar or any renewable energy as soon as we can, if we have the funds to support it. The more people make the switch, the cheaper it will become. What a source of power, Thomas Edison said with hopes that we transition before it's too late. And too late is rapidly approaching. If the suggestions I suggested earlier are to be followed, we would be able to completely transition into a greener city or even a greener world through the power of solar power.